Welcome everyone to the Ward F Council Office's Saturday caucus, where we discuss the items that are on the City Council agenda. You can find information about our caucus at everythingwardf.com. Click on Community Caucus, and it brings you to our caucus page. That will bring you to the link to the agenda. So clicking on that link will bring you to the Jersey City website. And then the upcoming meetings are always on the right hand column. As you can see, we only have 3 more meetings for the rest of the year, which is November 8th, November 29th, and December 13th. Today, we're going to be reviewing November 8th City Council agenda items. And we'll split screen here. So on the left, you'll see the complete agenda, and on the right, you'll see the details of each agenda item. We're going to go through each agenda item one by one, beginning with the first readings. First readings are ordinances. These are laws that the city is passing to help enhance quality life at some level of city government. Many times it's a lot of traffic ordinances, but they take two readings to go through. A first reading does not have public input. A first reading is just an introduction. This is the city administrators introducing their concepts to the city council, in which the city council will vote on the introduction. If it passes introduction, it'll go to the second reading, in which the public then can speak without signing up on any second reading before the city council votes to finalize that law and put it into law in the city. So without further ado, we'll go through our first readings for November 8th, 2023. Again, the caucus is on Monday. The formal caucus is on Monday. The public is allowed to attend, but they do not speak. Only the council members are allowed to ask questions to the city administrators who are sponsoring these resolutions and these ordinances. So this is why we have our Saturday caucus, so you, the public, can let us know what concerns you might have that Councilman Gilmore can bring up either at Monday's caucus or before, talking directly to those city administrators that are sponsoring each of these ordinances. So regarding our first readings, we have 7 first readings total. And the first one is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 4, parking for the disabled of the Jersey City Code, designating a reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. So these are persons who have requested special parking for the disabled, and we can see these addresses at 19 Boswick, 224 Linden, 2931 Seaview Avenue. I like to take this opportunity whenever I see these ordinances to let the public know someone from the community has to let the city know that this needs to be taken down. Somebody from the community has to challenge this existing parking ordinance in order for it to be amended. Again, there is no one from the city walking around looking for problems. There's no one from the city doing inventory. It's on the people of the city to check the city and say, hey, this spot has this used to be a handicap spot, but this person either deceased or they moved. This space should go back to the public. So if you see that in your neighborhood, please say something. 3.2 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, amending Section 332-5, one-way streets, and Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, amending Section 332-22, Parking Prohibited at All Times, to improve the safety of New York Avenue and Ravine Avenue intersection and convert Berry Street into a two-way street between Webster Avenue and New York Avenue. Ordinance 3.3 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 3, Parking, Standing, and Stopping, amending Section 332-22, Parking Prohibited at All Times on Ocean Avenue at Berry Gardens. Okay, so let's look at Ocean and Berry. So this is affecting Bramhall Avenue, 70 feet south and 95 feet south of Linden Avenue. So let's look at this on the map. And let's see why. So they every agenda item has a purpose box where they are stating why they think these changes is wise and will enhance quality of life for members of the city. The purpose of this ordinance is to designate 25 feet at the entrance to Berry Gardens at 199 Ocean Avenue as no parking anytime to accommodate those residents of the senior housing who need ambulatory transportation for dialysis and other medical emergency needs, as well as an area for emergency vehicles to park. This ordinance is proposed to the request at the request of Sandra Santos Garcia, and she's in the Director of Development, Modernization, and Sustainability and Chief of Architect. So this is at 199 Ocean Avenue. I believe that's in Ward A. So if there were any objections to this, the community would need to come out and state their reasons for objecting to this ordinance. But it sounds like it's a benefit to those who live in that building. Of course, we want to make sure our elderly always have accessible transportation. So yeah, we're all familiar with this location. So great. They're getting designated parking spaces to make sure that they don't have to, because they already have a long walk from their building to the sidewalk. So we don't want our elders to have to walk even further to get to their designated transportation. So I'm in favor of it. If there's anybody who objects, you can say so at this time, and we can let the councilperson of that ward know. This is Ward A. 3.4 is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a deed of easement for public access between Avenir LP and the city of Jersey City, and the execution of a 30-foot setback easement agreement between Avenir LP and the city of Jersey City affecting block 9301, lot 30.01, aka 66 Broadway. So Broadway is it's either B or C, but it's all the way on the west side and definitely not in Ward F. So if you object to this, you can talk to that council person of that section. And if anyone ever had a question about if where their boundaries are, like if what ward you're in, if you're not sure, we have the ward map on our site. You can go to the About Ward F page on our site. It was loading. So the About Ward F page, search your address, scroll all the way to the bottom, and this map will load eventually, and then you can search your address there. Probably because I'm sharing my screen and have my camera on, it's not loading properly. Jersey City also has an interactive zoning map where you can put in addresses as well. So we want So the interactive zoning map will bring you to the location, and you can see that it is an R3. And they don't identify the ward. We have to get them to change that so that they can easily identify the ward on the zoning map. Okay, so, but it's definitely not in Ward F. So 3.5 is an ordinance repealing ordinance 08-12, contractor pay-to-play reform ordinance in its entirety. And that's interesting. So 3.5. It's gonna go to the purpose box to repeal ordinance 08-128, as local governments are now prohibited from imposing pay-to-play provisions, which are more restrictive than state law. Okay. That's unfortunate because some cities need stronger laws. So our pay-to-play laws can't be stricter than New Jersey's pay-to-play laws. So we'll have to take a closer look at that to see what city folks are now, city government officials are now allowed to do. So I'll get a memo. This is 3.5. I'm gonna get a memo from our legal team to tell us what the differences are with this ordinance.
What's the meaning of pay to play?
So pay to play is like your it sets standards on what gifts you can receive if you're able to get gifts over certain amounts, if you're able to make donations to certain if like it sets the rules like how much can a developer donate to an elected official, how much can an elected official donate to a nonprofit organization, or how much can a nonprofit organization donate to the city. All these donations have to be public. Like whenever the city accepts a donation, it has to be made public and it has to be put on the books. But this outlines like the specifics, like what those parameters are and what the limitations are of said gift values. Um, because if it's too high, like sometimes it's an obvious pay to play, like you are providing this expensive gift so that you can get a favor on the backside. But because this is a long contract, I'm not a lawyer, and so we depend on our legal team to um to put this in layman's terms for us. Um, but it's interesting because uh, we used to have we had a reform ordinance, and this is undoing that reform. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to act like I understand all of the lingo here. So I'm going to put in a formal request to our legal team to provide a memo to tell us the exact differentiations between the city's pay to play ordinance and the state's pay to play ordinance, where they differ, um, and how this changes.
And Erica, when we see that, or when you see that memo, I'm assuming it's going to be clear what's changing in terms of, because I'd be concerned if they're, like you said, removing some of the prior restrictions, right? And if they're removing some of the restrictions on amounts given and all of that stuff, then we're behind. I think a lot of us are behind you on opposing that for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like they're reducing the threshold from over 300 to over 200. So, I mean, that's stricter. But yeah,
Oh, good.
so I'm definitely gonna
Yeah.
want more specifics on the differences.
Thank you for
Um,
that.
no problem. Yeah, because this is a one pager that says we're our ordinance was more restrictive in its pay to play provisions than the prevailing New Jersey state uh, Elections Transparency Act, which was approved in April 2023, retroactive to January 1st, made significant changes to New Jersey's pay-to-play laws, prohibits local government entities from imposing pay-to-play provisions that are more restrictive than the state law. Yeah, so yeah, we understand that the state law is trumping our municipal law, but what are the specific changes? So we'll get those specifics. Ordinance 3.6 is an ordinance of the city of Jersey City in the county of Hudson, state of New Jersey, the city, providing for a special emergency appropriation in amount of $10 million to fund contractually required severance liabilities resulting from the retirement of employees in the city. So I was just talking to my mother about this because my mother works in human resources, and a lot of private companies limit what the vacation that you can roll over. It seems like Jersey City doesn't, and that is why we have this huge $10 million payout to retirees. Because if you're set to retire and you stop taking vacation and those vacation days add up, you get that payout, and that payout gets very expensive. Especially if you've been here like 20, 30 years, your weeks add up. So my mother said, you could put a cap on that. You could put a cap on how many vacation weeks you get. It's a whole, law that we'll have to write. But instead of employees getting an extra week for every 5 years they work, they can get an extra week up until say 20 years. And then it's capped. Like if you work for the city 30, 40 years, you shouldn't still be getting extra weeks. There's no way you can take all that vacation and still do your job. So of course you're not taking the vacation. And then we have to pay you for those untaken vacation days. And you see these $1 million payouts. Councilman Solomon was talking about this at the last meeting that we had with the Historic Paulus Hook Association. So again, more research needs to be done here. Looking for any human resources professionals that can help do some research in this area. Because of course we want to be legal, and we don't want to take anybody's fair vacation time away. But there's a such thing as too much, and there's a such thing as taking advantage and loopholes. So it is our job to find those loopholes and close them. Councilman Solomon referred to some of our vacation time and retirement contracts as having loopholes so big in them, you can drive a Mack truck through them. So too big, we need to close these loopholes so that a Mack truck can't fit through them, and we aren't paying retirees $1 million every year. I mean, I understand, get your money, but yeah. Anyway, so we're researching this to see where we can close those loopholes. So I don't know. With that being said, I'm not sure how Councilman Gilmore and Solomon and any other councilman that has questions about these appropriations, they'll probably vote for this because those contracts are already written, but they'll probably make a public comment and put it on record that they want to close these loopholes. So because this is just going to keep increasing as we age out, as our city employees age out and retire, this number is going to get larger. So we need to be mindful of it. So that's 3.6. Just going to circle that one right there for more information. 3.7 is an ordinance of the City of Jersey City and the County of Hudson, State of New Jersey, authorizing the transfer of city-owned real property identified on the tax map. And they see real property as opposed to like paper, because there's like paper roads that exist on paper but not in real life. But this is a real piece of property identified on the tax map, block 14905, lot 17, 18, and 19, to the City Redevelopment Agency. Okay, so this is going to the JCRA, another agency that needs to be watched very closely. They are an autonomous agency. Their website is a hot mess, and it's very hard to get information from them. They are not transparent at all. Their meetings are still on Zoom, so you can't see them in person and ask them questions offline. And so let's check out this property. What property are we transferring to the JCRA? Because they are known to give away pieces of property for a nominal fee and with little community give back. So this is 302 Fairmont Ave. So again, I'm going to the city ward map ward map to see where this is located. And it is in Ward B. So this is in Mirror Prince Aries ward, close to the Ward F boundary. So yeah, so this piece of property is going to, it's probably I'll look at it in real time. So it's currently a parking lot. It's going to be redeveloped. It's probably going to turn into a 17-story building. So it's not in our ward, but these situations are always interesting, and it's good to follow. This is a great example of a piece of property to follow from start to finish, from the moment it gets designated to the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency, following it through that redevelopment agency process to seeing who they designated to, like what development company gets this piece of property, because they always get it for a nominal fee, and it's supposed to incorporate community give back. But oftentimes that community give back ends up being not enough. So yes, though it's not in Ward F, I'd still like to follow pieces of property like that because we can learn a lot from it. This is Ward B. For those who don't know, the JCRA designates city-owned property because the city says they're not in the business of real estate and they're not in the business of developing. But I feel like we should be developing properties, especially to make sure that it has an affordable housing component to it, because Jersey City Development, JCRA doesn't. They don't focus on a reportability. And that was the last first reading. Any questions regarding any of the first reading ordinances? The second reading ordinances are, they were first readings at the last meeting. We discussed them in detail at the last caucus because it was the first time we were seeing them. I'll go over them very quickly. You will have an opportunity to speak on these publicly without signing up. You only need to sign up to speak if you want to talk about resolutions, because they don't have public speaking opportunities after each resolution. They only have public speaking opportunities after each second reading. So we'll go through these quickly. 4.1 is a franchise ordinance granting permission to 331 SIP, its successors to assign and assigns to make private improvements and consisting of upper floor projections over the public sidewalk in a new residential building on the south side. So this is a franchise ordinance that doesn't take public space away from people. They're not doing anything to the sidewalk. It's just a overhead renovation that's being done. Regarding franchise ordinances in general, though, Councilman Gilmore is working with the law department to make changes to the way we do business in Jersey City, because up until now, and still currently, we just give franchise ordinance away, like the one on Marin Boulevard, I believe it was. If it wasn't Marin, forgive me, but it was a sidewalk franchise ordinance where they had to do a build out. And so they're using the sidewalk to create the ramp for wheelchair access. If that ramp would have been included in the original development and original drawings of the building, it would have taken away square footage from a unit. And so the developer is saving money, not just saving money, but they're able to make more money because now they have more square footage on the inside, because they didn't have to use the square footage on the inside for a ramp. They're using the sidewalk as a ramp, and they only had to pay $10 to the city of Jersey City for it. I don't know any other homeowner in Jersey City that's getting that type of break. Like, are we allowed to build out our front lawn onto the sidewalk for just $10? No, we would be fined. Or we would have to pay for that extra space. So we are looking at franchise ordinances to increase the fees associated with them. 4.2 is an ordinance of the city of Jersey City in the county of Hudson, New Jersey, approving the execution of an amended and restated water services franchise and service agreement between the city and New Jersey and Jersey City Municipal Authorities, the JCMUA, to increase the payments to the city. So MUA is going to increase payments to the city. Is that going to affect? Yes. What Councilman Gilmore's concerns is their increased payments are they going to pass that off into the persons who pay their water bills to the constituents? Like, Councilman Gilmore's concern is the water bill not increasing as a result of JCMUA's responsibilities increasing or their financial responsibilities increasing. So you'll hear more about that on Monday, and the council members will be asking questions about that. 4.3 is an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City accepting a dedication of certain roadways, sidewalks, and utilities located on a portion of Regent Street between River Street and Douglas and Arthur Skinner Memorial Drive, a portion of southerly end of River Street, and a portion of Regent Street between Liberty View Drive and River Street in Liberty Harbor North redevelopment area. 4.4 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, vehicles into a two-way street between Martin Boulevard and Grove Street. We looked at this in detail at the last caucus. Let me know if you have any questions there. 4.6 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 332, Vehicles and Traffic, Article 2, Traffic Regulations, amending Section 332-9, stop intersections to designate Ravine Avenue at New York Avenue and Congress Street at Sherman Avenue as an all-way stop controlled intersection. All-way stops are good. They slow down traffic. They cause everyone to look all ways. And we've been trying to get an all-way stop at the intersection of Pacific Ave and Bram Hall. We were told that the traffic study doesn't call for it. So we're gonna request a detailed report of that traffic study and try to get speed bumps or something put on Pacific Avenue, because there have been many accidents at Pacific and Bramhall. 4.7 is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 160, fee schedules established, subsection Chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, amending non-residential parking permit fees. So this is to allow teachers who don't live in the area that they teach to also qualify for parking permits. Councilperson Rivera at the last meeting also requested that they add in other city official or city positions in addition to teachers, like firemen and police officers, to also qualify for permits. I feel like that just incentivizes out-of-towners to work in Jersey City, as opposed to incentivizing Jersey Cityans to apply for these jobs. But I don't know if that got added, non-residential teacher faculty. So this is just talking about non-residential teacher faculty and staff. So it looks like they did not add Rivera's request for all Jersey City employees to qualify for permits. That would have been too much. We already have a parking problem. An ordinance of the 4.8 is an ordinance of the Municipal Council of the City of Jersey City establishing Chapter 91, an Animal Welfare Advisory Committee. So this is the advisory committee that is going to oversee the newly established animal control that will be managed by the City of Jersey City's Health and Human Services Department, rather. And so this is the committee that's going to oversee that. We need to put this committee in place so that we can be ready to be open for business by the first of the year. Does anybody have any questions about Liberty Humane Society's exit and Health and Human Services taking over animal control? All right.
Can I make a quick comment, Erica,
Sure.
about that? So the reason that Liberty Humane has existed in the first place, I've been doing cat rescue in the city for 10 years. And I had a conversation this week with Carol McNichol, who is one of the foremost experts and has adopted out 800 cats over the course of her nonprofit, right? So we've spent a lot of time making up for this lack of services that we have as a city. As we speak, I have a cat quarantined in my bathroom who is in need of vet care. And I've been using my own money and my own time to take care of this animal because animal control was going to put him down. So there are a lot of people who are concerned about this. And the fact that LHS came into being in the first place because the city of Jersey City was already failing to provide adequate services back in the early 2000s. So I have extreme concerns here. Like, this is an opportunity, I think, for us to improve significantly, but it could very easily go the other way. Mm-hmm. Carol and about 5 other rescues, myself and a couple other supporters, are going to be meeting with Paul Bellamy on Monday the 13th. And so I guess all I'm looking for, Erica, is guidance in terms of, what does Councilman Gilmore need from us in terms of community pressure? I think we're concerned that this community group, the oversight committee, is going to suddenly be, we're already seeing the mayor make direct appointments here without consulting anybody. How do we make sure that for once that the true cat and dog community of rescuers who actually go out there and do the work, how do we make sure that we're actually getting appointments on this oversight committee so that maybe we can actually make a change this time,
Mm-hmm. So each of these appointments will have to be, there's going to be another, there's going to be a resolution where the council have to approve the appointments.
Okay.
So I would follow that, just follow that closely, continue to come to these caucuses to see
Yep.
when that's going to be on the
Okay.
agenda. Unfortunately, it's not, we don't get an email saying, hey, here are all the agenda items. We have to wait
Yeah.
till 4 o'clock on Friday. I'm sorry, 3 o'clock on Friday before this caucus. So we see this at like when the public sees it. We don't know when things come on the agenda until it comes out. So yes, 3 o'clock on Fridays is when the agenda comes out. There are 3 more meetings for the rest of the year. Not sure what the time length is between this establishment of Chapter 91 Animal Welfare Advisory Committee and that committee being presented to the caucus for in resolution form, but it has to be done before the end. Well, yeah, it's probably going to be on the next agenda because they're supposed to open January 1st. So yeah, I would definitely look at that closely. Feel free to invite us to your Monday meeting. What time is that meeting on Monday at November 4th?
I haven't been given a time yet.
November 6th.
I'm
That's
asking because I want to make sure.
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
No
I
problem.
heard of a time, but I will absolutely. Can I email you, Erica, when I
Yeah.
find out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Feel free to CC us or blind copy us if you're I would blind copy all the council people in your communications.
Oh, okay.
I say blind copy instead of CC because all the council people aren't allowed to be on one email because it's considered a meeting, and any meeting with more than 3 council people has to be promoted to the public
Yep.
in like
That's,
with the sunshine law.
yep.
So we blind copy so that when they reply all, they're not having a meeting, they're not corresponding with each other.
That's good to know. Anything else besides us meeting with Paul? Since the Health and Human Services Department is responsible for all of this, it sounds like we're barking up the correct tree, but Erica, any other advice to us that we should be, besides obviously doing what we're already doing and your point about including council people and the
Yeah.
information?
Um, if you want to review the last caucus meeting on YouTube, Stacey Flanagan sounded very confident about the team that she was creating
She's
for.
very confident without giving details and without answering questions that the council people were very patiently asking her. It was flippant. Her responses were dismissive, and that made me even more concerned because she seems like she's not wanting to show her work.
I would hold her under a microscope,
Sounds good.
continue to do so.
Thank you. That
But
was
yes, you're on the right track. We need transparency, and without eyes, we don't know if the transparency exists. So we need multiple eyes. We need multiple teams and committees because it's hard for like our council office is made up of 3 people, and you see how many issues there are. So we need members of the public to continuously ask these questions, not just of Councilman Gilmore, but of all your council people. Every ward has 4 council people. You have the council person for your specific ward, and then you have your 3 at-larges that are also supposed to represent you. And these at-large, it's like they do nothing because they don't have a specific ward. They don't. They don't have to pay attention to anything specifically. I don't see them hosting any initiatives. So challenge them to earn their paycheck, their nice paycheck. 5 is the public request for hearing. You can sign up for that on the city's website. Again, you can either start with going to everythingwardf.com and going to our caucus page, clicking on agenda, and you'll see the sign up to speak towards the bottom left-hand corner. Definitely as soon as one council meeting ends, you can sign up for the next council meeting. What you can't do is sign up for future meetings because whenever you sign up, they're going to put you on the very next meeting. They're not going to put you on all meetings. So just be careful to always come back and make sure your name is on the list. If it's not, sign up again. Sorry, sorry. This is Lanisha and Aid. I just want to make sure it's not an emergency. Lanisha, hi, I'm hosting the caucus. Is it an emergency? Yes, I'm on now. All right, I'll call you back. Okay. Okay, thank you. All right, sorry about it. So yes, click on the agenda, you go to the city council meeting and you sign up. Sorry. All right. On to the juicy part, resolutions. This is where we spend our money. This is where people ask to approve a contract or approve an invoice, approve a check, approve someone getting a job, and et cetera, et cetera. So we have many. There are 61 resolutions, and we'll go through them. Please bear with me. The resolution you all are here for is in the 50s. So we're starting from number 1. Resolution 23797 is a resolution authorizing calendar year 2023 appropriation transfers for the Department of Infrastructure. So they are transferring funds from architecture to the director's office. Why? Like, should it become necessary during the last 2 months of the fiscal year to expand for any of the purposes specified in the budget, an amount in excess of the respective sums appropriated therefore, and therefore shall be in excess, and many I hate when they do this. Like the purpose is supposed to be a summary. It should be in layman's terms. Over and above the amount deemed to be necessary to fulfill the purpose of such appropriation, the governing body may, by resolution setting forth the facts, adopted by not less than 2/3 vote in full membership. Okay, so this doesn't say what for. What were these funds supposed to be for? Why are there extra funds, and why does it get to go to the Director of Infrastructure's office, and what will she do with those funds? 10.1, starting off with a bang. But you see how they hide stuff in jargon, in legal jargon.
They hide it in plain sight.
I said, oh, we told you, it's on the resolution. But there's no backup data. There's no backup. They should also include that entire budget. So you can present the extra funds here. Oh, we had extra because we did this. We saved money here, here, and here. This is legit extra. Like, show me why it's extra. Or because right now it's like if you don't use the funds, it's like somebody didn't do their job because you budgeted for this. You said you needed these funds. We increased taxes for these funds, and now here's $15,000 that the department actually isn't using. A resolution 10.2 is a resolution authorizing calendar year 2023 appropriation transfers for the Department of Administration. How much money is this? The 60,000, 20,000 going from Treasury to administration, and comms. I got work for comms. I got some work for the Department of Communications. So it's going from comms to comms. I don't understand that. Oh, from the OE. So this is operating expense. It's going to SW. SW is, I used to have this. OE is operating expense and SW is, anybody know? Software expense? Okay. All right. So communications department is getting better software. So while we're on this topic of the comms department and how they're spending their money, the Office of Councilman Gilmore is challenging the comms department to be more creative in how it markets planning board meetings, zoning board meetings, and also challenge them to market period planning board decisions and zoning board decisions, specifically the R1 changes, because they are so complex and the way that they have been marketing it is so boring. If anybody has ever had a conversation with Matt or Tanya from the planning department, they speak very dry and monotone. So to watch an hour and a half video of them explaining new zoning laws is not engaging, is not exciting, and therefore people aren't going to grasp the concept. So we're challenging the comms department to come up with an exciting way to create a 1-minute video, a 2-minute video of what these R1 changes mean, because they mean 1 and 2 family homes can now be 3 family homes without having to apply for a zoning permit, a zoning amendment. You can just pull permits as of right and get to work and have your 3rd unit apartment in your formerly 2-unit home. 10.3 is a resolution certifying compliance with NJSA 40A 5-4, requiring the governing body of every local unit to make an annual audit of books, accounts, and financial transactions. Oh, this is beautiful. Beautiful. We love when the government is more transparent with their fiscal responsibilities. So let's go here. Let's see who. Department of Administration says certifying compliance with the NJSA, requiring a governing body of every local unit to make an annual audit of the books. Solomon is probably going to say we should be doing quarterly audits or monthly audits to make sure that we aren't getting backed up, because waiting for the end of the year to do anything is just not best practice for anyone. 10.4 is a resolution approving the consolidated corrective action plan for the calendar years ending December 31st, 2021 and December 31st, 2022. Approving the consolidated corrective action plan. So let's go to approve audit findings corrective action plan. So what is the corrective action plan? Due to the proximity of completion and delivery of the annual audits for CY 2021, January 30th, it was deemed appropriate to consolidate the findings from both years in developing a corrective action plan. So the audit process involved a comprehensive review. The audit findings identified certain areas where improvements and adjustments or corrective actions are necessary to ensure optimal performance, mitigate risk, and strengthen governance and accountability within the municipality. What are the assessments? Consist of prioritizing audit findings based on potential dollar amounts, degree of noncompliance, appearance in prior audits, and scope of findings. For example, over expenditures would merit a higher priority because of potential high dollar amounts, noncompliance with the local budget law, appearance of the findings in prior audits, and citywide effects in future budgets. Great. By comparison, petty cash issues, while an indicator of potential fraud, are limited in amounts of 200 to 1,000 in scope, fewer than 15 employees. Once prioritized, each finding will be discussed with the appropriate units and their staff. Correction puts the documents and corrective actions in place. Monitoring entails periodic review. And how long is this? This is a very long document. But this is something that Councilman Gilmore is going to want to look at in detail to see what areas of concern were identified and how we are fixing it. Again, this document deserves a memo of summary. So we're going to request that. This is 10.4. With the implementation of ChatGPT and AI, I've been trying to create a system that will automatically summarize some of these resolutions because it gets very complex. And in order to save time, I'm looking at incorporating artificial intelligence into our office's programs, because this stuff is a lot. 10.5 is a resolution of the City of Jersey City consenting to the undertaking of certain capital projects by the Jersey City Municipal Utilities Authority, JCMUA. Go down to the purpose box to consent to the undertaking of certain capital projects by the MUA. Okay, so the MUA is taking over certain projects. 10.6, a resolution authorizing the change of the petty cash fund custodian for the Division of Housing Preservation. So it's going for from Yvette Sanchez to Felix Gossi, and he's in charge of $1,000 of petty cash. 10.7 is a resolution authorizing the change of petty cash funds custodian for the Division of Community Development. So it was Susan Ludwig, now it will be Romisha Chowdhury. 10.8 is a resolution recognizing Asemina. And I'm the one that puts this resolution in. I still don't know how to pronounce her name. I'll ask her I need to email her for a pronunciation key. She is a retired teacher. She unfortunately was ill she is a cancer survivor, but at the time of her retirement, she wasn't able to go to the retirement party. So we are honoring her, recognizing her with a resolution for her 25 years of service as a public school teacher. 10.9 is a resolution in support of 32BJ SEIU's cleaning contract campaign. 10.10 is a resolution recognizing Barbara Armstrong for her steadfast commitment to advocating for seniors and continuously uncovering innovative ways to help them thrive and flourish in an ever-changing world. This is another one of our sponsored resolutions. And if there is somebody in your community that you want to highlight, feel free to let us know, send us their bio, and we can either create a citation for them if you're having an event and you want them to be honored. We can present them with a citation at the event or a resolution if they're their service to the community was historic in any sense. We're happy to recognize them with a resolution at a city council meeting. Resolution 10.11 is a resolution rescinding resolution 23-743 that referred proposed amendments to the Journal Square 2060 redevelopment plan to the planning board for review. So we're rescinding. So whereas we adopted a resolution referred to a proposed ordinance to amend the Journal Square, the city desires to examine the ordinance more closely and potentially amend the proposed ordinance, whereas the city prefers to refer the most current and final version of the ordinance to the planning board for review. Okay, so we this is regarding Journal Square, not in F, but they asked F to help sponsor this ordinance because Councilman Gilmore is a champion of affordable housing, and currently Journal Square's affordable housing Journal Square's redevelopment plan does not require any affordable housing. So they're looking for ways to add this to the redevelopment plan. Again, a good part of the city's activity to pay attention to, because we're going to want to look at these things when it comes to the South Side, when it comes to the Greenville neighborhood, when it comes to the South Side of Ward F, especially with the R1 changes. We may need to get stricter with our redevelopment plan and possibly add more areas to our redevelopment plans to protect the neighborhood. 10.12 is a resolution reappointing Darwin R. Ona as a member of the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency. Darwin R. Ona is a member. Let's look at her resume, his or her resume. See, and these are the things that I don't understand. Like, why do we appoint people who have no experience in development? Like, he was a police officer. How does he get to judge redevelopment projects? But he's appointed by the mayor. A resolution 10.13 is a resolution reappointing councilperson at large Danny Rivera as a member of the redevelopment agency. 10.14 is reappointing Doug Carlucci. I can get Douglas Carlucci because he was in Building and Streets. He has some knowledge. I can understand this type of appointment because when somebody with this type of experience knows the city and knows what the city's needs are and abilities are. But when it comes to development, I don't see why a police officer would be on the team. Resolution reappointing councilperson Denise Ridley as can they switch it up? Can my councilperson be appointed to the redevelopment agency? I would love to get Frank on the planning board, zoning board, or the redevelopment agency's board so that we can be in on those meetings and those closed sessions. So this is another opportunity for the community to request that. Me saying and Councilman Gilmore saying it, we're just two people saying it, but you all have votes as well. You all have voices, and we need some we need to change it up because these boards it's the same people that's been on all these boards, and nothing's going to change if we don't change the people who have the voting power. So these are all Jersey City redevelopment agencies up for reappointment and appointment. So here's a new one, Mary Pat Noonan, and they don't even have her resume here. So no. 23, which one is this? 1016. So again, the redevelopment agency is the agency that everyone should be watching with a close eye, under the microscope. And I just wish we had the manpower to do so, but there's no resume here. So if it were up to me, she would get a no vote. 10.17 is a resolution authorizing the distribution of the United States Environmental Protection Agency grant to the Greater Neighborhood Alliance to enhance residential quality of life issues. Good job, GNA. Go ahead. 10.18 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a grant agreement with Sustainable Jersey City to enhance quality of life. And I know GNA and Sustainable Jersey City have been working together to train people on enhancing air quality and planting trees and things like that, because it's a domino effect when it comes to shade and trees have a domino effect when it comes to air quality, and then also offering shade and just greenery. It also enhances the quality of life in urban areas. So shouts out to GNA and Sustainable Jersey City. 10.19 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Insight Public Sector, Inc. for the purchase and delivery of 20 Microsoft Surface Pro 8 laptop 13-inch and accessories under state contract for the Department of Health and Human Services. So HHS is getting new laptops for what? What are they going to use them for? $47,000 worth.
$47,000
$47,000
for computers.
A contract in the amount for purchase and delivery of 20 computers. So they're $2,000 each. That's a nice computer. I bought my Chromebook for $200.
Are they coders doing app development? Like why do they need, sorry.
No, great question. No, great question, because you can buy 10 times more computers. You can get a Chromebook for $200, like, and still do the same amount of work. Like, unless you are editing video, you don't need a MacBook, if you know what I mean. You don't. So that's a great question. What are they doing with these expensive laptops?
I literally know programmers in corporate America who have less, like way less to work with.
Doesn't say anything about the person, so that's a question to ask. Who specifically gets these laptops, and what is their job description? So that's 10.19. Because I'm sitting here with an old Lenovo ThinkPad that has no hard drive space, no disk space, and it's slow as all get out, but I actually build websites and need a faster computer, and I can't get one from the city. So yeah, jealous over here. 10.20 is a resolution authorizing the Jersey City Department of Recreation and Youth Development to accept a grant from the Hudson County Department of Health and Human Services for youth mental health first aid. Interesting how we can find money, like, and there's so much money. There's so much money for mental health. I mean, I love it, but how are they using this money, and who's in charge of it? So Hudson County Department of Health and Human Services, via the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, has awarded $28,000 to Jersey City to support and continue Jersey City's youth mental health first aid training, in addition to $78,000 awarded to Jersey City for the implementation and continuation of Hudson County's Municipal Alliance program. So I would like to know, what does this program look like, and what was the outcome of previous years' programs? Like, what type of mental health first aid? That's so interesting. I would like to see the program here. This is not enough information. Stacy Flanagan should also attach a summary of what this program entails. I want to see statistics. How many children are you training? Anybody know anything about this program? I know Edward is on the line. Edward, if you can ask Pam if they know anything about this program, youth mental health first aid training, if Anti-Violence Coalition has ever engaged with that. 1021. Thank you. 1021 is a resolution authorizing the Jersey City Department of Recreation and Youth Development to accept the grant. Oh, did I just look at that one? Oh no, so this is the one to combat alcoholism and drug abuse. So how much is this one for? So cash match. Again, I want to see what these programs look like. Health and Human Services is so important. I mean, they're right here on the hill, but it's like I don't see the effects of them being so close. Like,
She's getting a whole lot of money.
mhm,
Stacy Flanagan talking a
mhm.
whole lot of things that don't have any data or anything on. She just talks newspeak or something.
So we want to ask, what does this program look like? So in advance of Mondays, like when we get off of this meeting, I'm going to send an email to the department directors. We try to ask them these questions in advance so they can email us the answers. And then if we still have more questions, we ask them at Monday's caucus. So I'm going to give her an opportunity to send summaries of these programs and the statistics and their success rates. Because you shouldn't continue to get money if your program is not successful. 1022 is a resolution authorizing an award of a contract to Safeware Inc. for maintenance and repair services for radios through the U.S. Communications Government Purchasing Alliance, known as Omnia Partners, for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Communications and Technology. So this is to upgrade their radios, $142,000. 10.23 is a resolution authorizing the City of Jersey City Division of Housing Preservation to apply and accept funds from the Jersey City Department of Community Affairs under the Lead Remediation and Abatement Grant Program. 1024 is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of a mortgage encumbering 10 Eastview Court. That's when somebody meets all their mortgage qualifications. 10.25 is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge, another discharge of 30 Bergen Avenue. So congratulations to them. 10.26 is a resolution authorizing the business administrator to execute a discharge of a mortgage encumbering 207 Linden Avenue. 1027 is a resolution authorizing Division of Community Development to subordinate the Home Investment Partnership Program mortgage affecting the properties known as 307 Bergen. Now, what does this mean? So it's Garden State Community Development Corporation, is the developer who owns the property known as 307 Bergen Avenue. They participate in Jersey's Home Age Affordable Housing Trust Fund and CBDG programs. The Garden State Community Development Corp applied for home funds for a new construction project to create 12 affordable condominium units to be sold to low-income housing. That's great. At or below 307. I think this is the one that Michael Griffin had a part of. This is awesome. Construction loan. Okay, so these are just the terms of their loan. But this is when it's good. It's good to give, these type of deals are great. I could understand giving property away when the developer is going to make it 80% affordable. What I don't understand is when we give property away and the developer only makes it 15% affordable. So this is a great example of responsible affordable housing, 307 Bergen Avenue. 1028 is a resolution of the Municipal Council awarding the City of Jersey City Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funds and authorizing sub-recipient agreements with the Jersey City Police Activity League and Scores Reentry. So PAL. If Councilman Gilmore were here, he would probably say something about like why did they, what was special about them versus the other applicants, how many other applicants were there. Just to get an overview of the qualification process, because we like to publicize these opportunities, because a lot of times it's the same nonprofits getting the grants over and over and over again. So we just want to make sure that people have an opportunity to understand how this grant process works and when to apply for them. That was 10.28. 10.29 is a resolution amending resolution 23-451 approved on June 14th, authorizing the city of Jersey City to apply and accept a grant award from the state of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General for the Safe and Secure Communities 2023 grant program. Why are we amending it? What's being amended? Replacing resolution withdrawn from October. Okay, so there was a resolution withdrawn. 10.30 is a resolution authorizing a lien against the properties listed herein for the cost of removing litter, debris, etc. in accordance with. I love these because this means the city actually did some work. So when we'll put liens on properties when they are leaving them abandoned or they are not cleaning or they leave their trash out and they are being absentee landlords, again, there is no city official going around looking for these problems. It is on the constituents. It is on you, the community, to see something and say something and say, hey, my neighbor hasn't taken out their trash or put their trash out on the street in 2 weeks. I don't know if anybody lives there anymore, but y'all need to come clean it up. So Jersey City will present fines first, and only after like the second or third fine, or if it's deemed hazardous, only at that time, if somebody calls in and says, hey, it's stinking over here, y'all need to come clean it, only at that time will the city come clean it, and then we will bill the owner of that place. But again, there's no city employee driving around looking for these cases. It is on you, the neighbors, to call these problems in and get these places cleaned. And that goes for empty lots, that goes for abandoned houses, that goes for trap houses. If you think it's, you know, whatever you see, if you see something, say something. You can make anonymous calls to the Residence Response Center, or you can call the council office and we'll submit it on your behalf, so you don't have to be attached to the complaint. 1031 is a resolution ratifying the award of a contract to Lynn Computer Systems, Inc. for the Rave Mobility Safety Smart 911 annual license for emergency mass notification systems under GSA contract for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Office of Emergency Management. 10.32 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Lawmen Supply Co. for the purchase and delivery of ammunition under New Jersey State contract for the Department of Public Safety, Division of Police. $151,000. So this is an opportunity to ask about what other types of ammunition do they have, and when are they allowed to use such ammunition? Like when they ask for money to pay for something, it's an opportunity for the public to speak about that. And bring in other suggestions, and then also ask questions about, well, how can we change that? A lot of times you'll hear, well, I'm sorry.
Excuse me, Erica.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be on the thing right now. Please. Sorry.
I can hear you.
Erica, can you hear me? I wanted to find out about less lethal weapons when they're arriving at these mental health or crisis situations. And I saw on the Attorney General's site where they did even discussed this in 2000, and they brought it back up, I think, in 2021, in regard to less lethal weapons in terms of not just tasers. I'm not just talking about tasers, and they talk about spray, and they're also talking about rubber tip bullets or something else like that. I mean, it may cause harm, but not as fatal. That type of thing. They're getting all this ammunition, but what are they doing in terms of just getting ammunition that kills and not any other type of ammunition that can deter? You know, I'm not saying, you know, in regard to they're showing up with where instances where you don't need lethal ammunition. So what is included in that they're addressing? Because I'm concerned. That's one of my biggest concerns. Okay, thank you.
No, that's a great question. Again, this is an opportunity to bring that up. So when Councilman Gilmore is voting on 1032, a lot of times they'll vote on 10 resolutions at a time.
Connecting to the internet. It looks like a routing issue. So try restarting.
So at this time, so when they're voting on that, if I were the council person, I would say, okay, yeah, 10:30 through 10:36, but I'm not gonna vote yes for 10:32 because I feel like we need to find other sources of ammunition. We need to look into less lethal arms for police instead of more bullets. Like, are we looking into getting rubber bullets? Are we looking into arming them with more tasers? Like, does it have to be? And a lot of times their response would be, well, this is what we're allowed to get. Okay, well, what's the ordinance number that spells out what the police are allowed to be armed with, and let's amend that. Because every responsibility or every item that they do is attached to an ordinance, it's attached to a resolution. So that's where the research comes in to find out what resolution says every cop has to be armed. What resolution says every cop has to be armed with a gun, a taser, and how do we amend that to putting a less lethal option in there, like pepper spray or mace or something like that. 10.33 is a resolution authorizing the execution by the city of Jersey City of a novice in lieu of deed notice requested by Honeywell International, Inc., affecting a portion of the Theodore Conrad Drive public right-of-way. So, go down to authorizes execution of a notice in lieu of deed affecting Theodore Conrad Drive. Where is this? — 115 Tabor Road, Morris Plains. Okay. So it's regards to the sewer. So a lot of times they need action to access to underwater stuff. 10.34 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Adamo Brothers Construction for the Riverview Fisk Park Artificial Turf Project. Excuse me. 10.35 is a resolution authorizing the award of contract to Trendway Corporation for the purchase and delivery of glass partitions for the Johnston Avenue Library under state contract. 10.36 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Trendway Corporation, for the purchase and delivery of installation of office furniture for the City of Economic Development Corporation under the state contract for the Department of Infrastructure. Watch this. I knew it. I said, watch this furniture be expensive. Oof. Furniture, $63,000. They got some expensive taste. The Department of Infrastructure is a new department, so they're furnishing it. I just want to know what kind of furniture it is. It doesn't itemize it. Interior office furniture. You should get pictures or something. What's the front? Okay. Nope. New furniture. 3 quotes, 3 different manufacturers. However, using agencies that choose to use a specific manufacturer should get 3 quotes from the manufacturer's dealers. This is so much. Goodness gracious. Okay, so panel to panel connection, panel to panel. Harness, vertical light block, inline power duplex receptacle. Is that a trash can? Yeah, it sounds like you got a powered trash can for $100. Like, it's just, right? Isn't a receptacle a trash can? Unless it's a desk. I don't know, but it's just little things like that we need an auditor to look at. Like, we don't have to buy expensive furniture. 10.37, a resolution authorizing the award of a professional services contract to Tectonic Engineering Consultants, geologists and land surveyors, DPC, for geotechnical and environmental engineering services for the engine code number 10 and letter 12 new firehouse. 10.38 is a resolution authorizing an award of contract to the White Rock Corp to install a new black fleece back roofing system at the de-escalation center through the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance, Bergen County Cooperative for the Department of Infrastructure. $600,000. 10.39 is a resolution of the Municipal Council authorizing the Planning Board to study an amendment to the Powerhouse Arts District redevelopment plan. 10.40 is a resolution of the Jersey City Municipal Council authorizing the Planning Board to prepare an amendment for the Jackson Hill redevelopment plan. Oh. This is Ward F. Whereas the local redevelopment and housing law permits municipalities to adopt and amend regulations in need of redevelopment. Municipal council may direct the planning board to prepare a plan. Okay, so this is for the Dunkin' Donuts drive-through. So currently, the Dunkin' Donuts has one lane. They want to expand to 2 lanes to offer more opportunity to bring, and anybody who's ever gone to the Dunkin' Donuts on MLK has probably experienced the traffic that it causes on MLK Drive. So they want to create 2 lanes to try to bring some of that traffic in off the street. And they're also expanding the inside. They're renovating inside, so it's not just going to be a Dunkin' Donuts. He's going to expand and have, I think, 2 or 3 other stores. So it's going to be more of a storefront instead of that whole brick facade in the front. It's going to be more stores to the right of the Dunkin' Donuts and also 2 lanes. So right now, the curb cut only allows for 1 lane. So they have to revise the redevelopment plan to allow Dunkin' Donuts to rebuild their property as of right and not have to pay more because it's expensive to go to the zoning board. You have to get a lawyer, you have to get a contractor, you have to pay all of these fees for the processing to get plans approved by the zoning board. So a way around that is just to go to the planning board and say, hey, can you revise a redevelopment plan so what I want to do is legal and so I don't have to go to the zoning board? And this is what a lot of developers do. And especially if they're buddy with people in the planning board, then they have this knowledge that, okay, if I want to build something and it's not currently zoned for it in this neighborhood, instead of paying all these fees and fines and hiring a lawyer and going to a zoning board meeting, I can just go to planning board and say, hey, can you change the plans for this neighborhood? And it's sneaky in a way, but it's not because it has to be done in the public. So they're telling you, they're being transparent, and we appreciate the transparency that they're saying this is for Dunkin' Donuts. Sometimes though, they'll revise a redevelopment plan and they won't say which development it's specifically for. They'll just say, oh, this is to benefit the neighborhood at large. And then next thing you know, 2 months later, there's a new plan proposed that takes advantage for the revisions of that redeveloped plan. And it just would have been nice if we knew what that plan was for that development. So Dunkin' Donuts did it right the first time though. They this is a developer who is responsible and is definitely community engaged. He hires from the community and he has several other Dunkin' Donuts locations. But if you have any objections still, we definitely want to hear it. We invited Dunkin' Donuts to our town hall meeting, to our last town hall meeting to talk about this project, and we're in favor of it. The only thing that I requested was, since more cars will be idling in this neighborhood, to plant some more trees to help balance out the air quality. Any questions?
Will they be encroaching on that area where they have those little pop-up shops, like the tanker?
No, that's a separate property. It's just his property. So you see how he has multiple parking spaces in the back of the Dunkin' Donuts, and then he has a whole nother lane. So he's turning that into 2 lanes, and so you'll have 2 ordering stations to order from, just like the McDonald's has multiple. So it's gonna be set up like the McDonald's. And then I think he's also adding 2 parking spaces because of the way that it's being set up. And then a new facade behind the back. And then a new facade in the front as well. It's gonna be more glass instead of all that brick. Because it's gonna add 2 more stores there.
Okay.
Let's see, 10.41 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a use agreement with the state of New Jersey Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, permitting the city of Jersey City to use the National Guard Armory at 678 Montgomery Street. So Veteran Affairs will use the armory. 10.42 is a resolution authorizing the renewal of an open-end contract with Clark Moynihan Landscaping and Construction LLC for general maintenance at various parks for the Department of Recreation. So I just want to go back to that one because we're going to want to be good friends with him. Which is he on? Specific, does he have a list of specific parks? So it's an $800,000 contract. All right, so we're gonna ask Lucinda, what park specifically will he be in charge of? Because I'm gonna want his cell phone number. 1042. But some of these parks look atrocious. Which parks? 1043 is a resolution authorizing an award of a 1-year open-end contract to Verizon Communications. All of our cell phones and everything comes from Verizon. Fleet through Sourcewell, Public Works Division, all of our cable and internet comes from Verizon. 10.44 is a resolution authorizing the award of an open-end contract to City Auto and Truck Parts in Bayonne for the purchase and delivery of various automotive parts for the fleet. So that's when we fix our own cars that the city owns. 10.45 is a resolution rejecting the bids received by the city of Jersey City on October 17th for snow removal for the Department of Public Works. So we're rejecting all bids here for snow removal, October 17th. And it's interesting because I remember last year we got, we approved and we didn't have much snow. So the question was, that's like, what happens when we don't have snow? Do we still have to pay them? So we rejected all these bids. Again, another process to follow. So this is the first rejection. And we can, at this time, we can ask questions. What happens? What's the bidding process? What happens after a second rejection? And what are the specifics of the negotiation parameters? So any bidding process we like to follow closely just to make sure they're consistent with all other bidding processes. Because with the RFP that we're going to discuss, like there's some confusion there because it was rewritten. So there was no opportunity to decline a second bidding opportunity. We'll talk about it. 10.46 is a resolution authorizing the award of a contract to Millennium Communications Group for camera upgrades to the de-escalation project under the interlocal purchasing system for the Department of Public Works, TIPS. So this is for TIPS. 10.47 is a resolution supplementing the manual of loading zone designations of the city of Jersey City, amending taxi stands and designating a loading zone on the west side of Grove Street between Wayne Street and Christopher Columbus. So taxi stands are gonna get a location on Christopher Columbus between Grove and Wayne. I'm just gonna circle that, just make sure our downtown constituents don't have anything to say about that. 10.48 is a resolution supplementing the manual of loading zone designations of the city of Jersey City's designated loading zone at 2263 Academy Street. I think it's like trying to see if it's in Ward F. I think it is. Nope. Okay, so that's Ward C. 10.49 is a resolution supplementing a manual of loading zone designations of the city of Jersey City, designating a loading zone at 400 Claremont Avenue. Is that the school? That's B. Yeah, that's near the Board of Education. Where are they doing these? Hundred and 40-foot long indentation in the sidewalk in front of the 400 Claremont Avenue, so no parking anytime except for all vehicles actively loading and unloading. So they're getting a specific loading zone with an indentation in the sidewalk. Okay, so they can pull over and not be in the street. 10.50 is a resolution supplementing the manual of loading, another loading zone. And this is at Observer Highway 18th Street, so that's downtown. 10.51 is a resolution supplementing manual loading zone at Academy Street frontage 885 Bergen Avenue. 10.52. So 10.52 is what you are all here for, most of you. A resolution authorizing the award of a city competitively bid contract to the city of Jersey City, to the Jersey City Medical Center to provide community crisis response to 911 behavioral health call services. Okay, so this was tabled at the last meeting. I just want to pull up my notes from the last meeting. But at this time, while I pull up my notes from the last meeting, for anyone who has questions, comments, concerns, or you just want to use this opportunity to speak to your fellow constituents on the call, with regards to 10.52.
I apologize, Erica. I have my grand, so I just opened the door. I had a question. After listening to different things and statements we were on before, the one thing I was concerned about is the safety data they claim that authorized at 2 to 10. Okay, and also my concern with just their outright missing and not showing up, sending the medical center or some behavioral expert in regard to this program. I think that was a total disregard and even concern for the program. And the other question is, did this when we were talking about the finances and the money and the turnover, if they don't use it because what happened to the money previously, they put it to something else. Is there a way to, if hopefully they don't, I don't really want this BERT program because I don't think it addresses the needs of our community. How could they place that money someplace else that when it can come back? When we look at the Arrive Together or the 988 program, how could we redirect that money or holding it over? Because what I'm feeling after listening to the caucus meeting, the first initial caucus meeting, and they really didn't have any clue, in my opinion, of what they were doing, even with the 911 and the services. And then 911 does have issues. The police department and their input is none. So that's the basic things I'm concerned about. The funds, how they're going to be redirected if they don't use it. And I really don't think they haven't showed any interest, in my opinion. I apologize, they're opening and closing the door, my grant. They don't have any interest if they really were concerned about my nephew's death, one, which is, this is beyond Andrew, it's the community. And they're not even they just put a Band-Aid or something that they think we're going to accept. So I have a couple of concerns. And that data thing about the safety, the phone calls with the safety department or whatever, my family didn't call 911. We call the crisis center number. And I have a real issue with that also. Okay. And the follow up, which they can't claim in that PEST program, that BERT program, which also they let him out and they didn't follow that protocol in the actions they have right now with the mobile center. Oh, I'll end with that.
Definitely. I would say we have we also have this similar concerns. There are already issues with medical centers programs. How are they at the forefront of this opportunity? Also, who else are we promoting this opportunity to? Why is it always the Jersey City Medical Center that is responding? There have to be other professionals out there that can provide this service, even if they're not from Jersey City specifically. There's 3 other plus other municipalities within New Jersey that I think we should entertain and reach out to. So I'm looking forward to this being declined, voted down, so that we could get to the point where we have more flexibility and more control with negotiation, negotiating the contracts for the services, and possibly hiring more than one to provide these services if one isn't the answer. So I would recommend voting it down, not delaying it, but we have to make sure we have all the votes. And that is where Councilman Gilmore and Solomon do their work to speak with their um, colleagues, the other council people, to ask them to vote, you know, in a way that best serves the community.
Erica,
How you doing?
the public is outraged. I intend to sign up to speak to address this resolution specifically, among other things. But how dare the council even, no one had better not vote for this, okay? Let me tell you something, 2 to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday, how dare you put a mental health crisis on a schedule? The incident that occurred, the horrible murder of Drew on August 27th, happened on a Sunday. No way that they think that we're going to be okay. $4.3 million of our money to service us from Monday through Friday. Okay, so no, I'll be there to address them on that. Erica, where in this RFP does it says that the Jersey City Police Department will be in partnership with any specialist, will be trained? I haven't seen anything that specifies any sort of training that will lead us to believe that they are capable, that they're competent moving forward. We want in this situation, in these situations, if there have to be police, that police use less lethal force going in. Public Safety Director Shea needs to be front and center. If Jersey City Medical Center if absolutely not, Erica. The public is against this resolution. It should be voted down, and we'll be there against this resolution. Indeed, we will be. Indeed, we will be.
Yes. How you doing? This is Steve Young. I'm the president of National Action Network South Jersey chapter, and advocate on behalf of Andrew and all those who cannot speak for themselves. I have several questions as well as concerns. We have one is what is the minority participation and the local workers that will be participating and helping out with this, as well as the time frame and the hours are a major concern. These issues happen 24 hours, so to limit the hours is just you're just just playing with the situation. When would they act? When would they be calling the police, if they'll be calling the police? When will they be doing that? One major thing is why wasn't there a town hall meeting with the people that's affected the most and the organizations that's in Jersey City to have them participate as well and give input? Because the ones that's grieving knows it best. The ones that's in the street knows what's going on. So those are some of the questions. The amount of this contract, what if they come back for change orders? Is this enough funding right now? Those are major things that we don't know right now, but they will probably come up and ask for a change order next week. Again, the staff and the time frame for responding to these very critical issues are very important. The time frame is very important because what happened, we don't want them to be talking on the phone and the SWAT team at the door. We don't need that type of thing again. And almost last, will there also be like a boots on the ground, or will they be basically transparent, where they can have credibility and trust with the community? That is major right now, because if the community don't trust them, they're not going to call them. So that is most of the questions and concerns that we've been hearing, as well as we would like answered. And we would like for you to pull it, mainly because they need to have a town hall meeting to discuss this a little further. What is the hurry right now if you're not going to do it right? Either do it right or don't do it at all. Thank you.
Erica, Jersey City Together presented a list of formal questions at the last council meeting to the council. And I think those questions should be also included or ready for Councilman Gilmore and Solomon to review and demand an answer from the representative that will be present at the caucus meeting for this RFP.
Definitely. I had them printed out for every council person at the last meeting. It was the mental crisis Jersey City Medical Center representative wasn't there, so they didn't get to ask their questions, but I'll do that again as well for the next meeting. Print the questions out and put them physically in front of each council person. In addition, they've already been emailed to each council person and physically delivered to each council person. The last email from Jersey City Together was successfully delivered to every council person per our office requests, and it'll be done again on Monday and Wednesday. Gina?
Erica?
Mhm. I see Gina with her hand up.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you, Erica. I just wanted to say, I feel like it's beyond even JCMC, right? I did have I did have the chance to go through the response to the RFP and the evaluation, and I noticed a couple things. There were two other applicants, two other respondents to the RFP, and we have heard nothing about them. I also love what y'all are saying about the combination. We need more than just a private contractor here. We need 988 support. And the fact that the city has not even considered using 988 and their resources that are publicly available is, to me, just completely ridiculous. 988 has a rate of contacting the police that I believe is under 3%. So for under 3% of cases, they contact the police when they absolutely and positively need help, and those police officers should be trained in mental health response. So I'm concerned with the RFP as it's written. I love that, Edward, you brought up the thing about the timeline, and that was actually written in there by Stacy Flanagan's team. So that was not a response from Jersey City Medical Center saying, oh, your budget's too low, we can only operate between these hours. That was the request from the city, that they only operate between those hours. And if we're paying $10 million for back pay of retirement funds and $47,000 for computers, I think we can increase the budget for mental health services in this city. So I know that we're all going to be there next Wednesday, but is there anything we can do to help not only just say, hey, we want to vote down this RFP awarding situation, but we actually also just want to change the whole process of what we're doing here in the first place? Does voting it down sort of say, okay, we're back to the drawing board, or do we have to go further to sort of make the point that we're concerned about the process itself of implementing these services?
Right. So and that's why voting it down only helps if it's the second time we voted an RFP down. And I feel like, and this is just I'm thinking out loud, right?
Yep.
Health and Human Services put out an RFP. They didn't like the bids they got, so they put out another RFP. But they changed the RFP before they put it back out. If they didn't change the request, the original request for proposals, and this was Medical Center coming back with the second proposal for the same RFP, and we voted them down a second time, then Jersey City would then have the power to negotiate and hire whoever we want.
Oh, so because they changed the RFP, this will not count as a second voting down
It
of it.
sure won't. They get correct. And so we'll have to write a new RFP that says 24/7 so that Jersey City Medical Center can still apply, right? Because it's public. We can't discriminate just because we don't like Jersey Medical for whatever reason. We can't discriminate. We have to open it up. And so if we say 24/7, Jersey City Medical Center can respond to that as well. But it's on them to drop the price, and they're not going to. Stacy limited the parameters of the time to fit Jersey City Medical Center's budget, because they were too expensive the first round with the extended hours. And so Stacy put, oh, okay, how about just 2 to 10? And how much would that be? Basically, she catered the RFP to, and you're not supposed to do that. Like, somebody needs to check that. Like, is that legal? Like, can we change
Are
why
we
did we change the RFP to begin with? The original RFP came as a result of Jersey City Together's call for this by the mayor, and they had a meeting with the mayor. So the fact that the RFP got changed to begin with is very questionable.
we should review the changes, the major changes that were made to the RFP this go around. Although this RFP is canned right here before it makes it into the front door, because we want 24/7 service. Like, what major changes did Ms. Flanagan think? What
Well,
the
other
heck?
changes were made, right? That
What other changes were made? Is there a time when we can go through? I know we're charged with going through the RFP essentially on our own.
Oh my
We
gosh,
should
Edward,
get
I would
that.
be so happy to have that. Sorry to cut you off, but I would be thrilled to have that conversation with as many people as want to. Be sorry, just because
no,
I think
yes,
it's important that we all understand it, and it is like 80, it's huge, you guys. I spent so much time looking at it, and I don't want everybody to have to, take all that time.
Jersey City Together had a meeting on the 21st. Unfortunately, it was the same day that the family of Andrew Washington also had another meeting. But they were that was their meeting on the 21st was specifically review the changes, and they did go through the changes, and they have those notes. So I would get with Jersey City Together, because this is their baby. This request for proposals came 2 years ago, over 2 years ago, from Jersey City Together. And the second RFP took so long to come out. Stacey Flanagan used the budget not being approved, because the budget was the budget approval was delayed maybe 3 months. I think it originally came out in May. It didn't get approval till August. And Stacey Flanagan, when I would ask her office, where's the RFP? Why isn't it out yet? She said, oh, well, it depends on the budget. That's BS, because and Denise, we're going to come to you after. It's BS because the city has approved emergency funds plenty of times before. So miss me with that. We can't put out an RFP until the budget is approved, because she could have sponsored a request for emergency funds to put this RFP out by itself. Denise?
What about an advisory committee for the mental area, mental health area? Do they have one?
So that's the committee that reviews the HHS RFPs.
But then we don't have our own, like as a community type of thing.
So
Because again,
if the community wants to create a committee, the community can do anything. You can create your own organization, and but as far as it being a mandate, if the city creates the organization, then the mayor's gonna appoint whoever he wants. So we need independent. Yes, there is a need for independent advisory committees. Yes, yes, all day.
because on that RFP, the people that were involved really didn't have any mental health background. Even the people who wrote the letters of support, even in terms of interaction with the mobile response team in crisis. I mean, it was I think a high school educator or something. None of them had any input in regard to mental health illness, in regard to this type of level of mental health illness in crises. Okay, so I think it's a facade with everything that this RP stands for.
You know
You
what would
know,
be
so.
what would be wise as well is to incorporate college students. St. Peter's University did a study specifically about the need for mental health services in Ward F. They actually made a video about it as well. I'm going to forward that email to you and Edward. And the general email, so you can disperse it to whomever you want. But I'll get you in touch with those students. I would reach out to also NJCU and Rutgers students who are studying mental health, because and those who are getting their master's degrees, because they write theses on these specific issues. can also lend a hand in being on this type of committee. But as far as reviewing the RFP, I would definitely reach out to Jersey City Together because they've done
Thank
the
you.
comparison already. Any other
Thank
questions
you very
on?
much.
Thank you.
Mr. Lillis is out on vacation, but every other member of Jersey City Together is here. And Ms. Harris, we were actually at St. Peter's College on the first together with Stacy Flanagan and the department hosting a health summit. Yeah, so we'll be in touch very soon, as soon as Monday at the caucus meeting.
Definitely.
If not,
I want to see if I can find that that video real quick, just to, because there was a lot of good stuff. The talent wasn't as exciting, but the if you can get past the monotone voices, the information, the data that they provided. Oh, we don't have our YouTube page there.
And Eric, I think people should be aware that it's just not mental health that's in crisis. The community that has crisis calls too. So there's a variety of reasons why that mobile crisis response team should be.
Erica, you're on mute by accident.
So this is the video that I was talking about. St. Peter's University, they teamed up with our office to and asked us, they didn't need our permission, but they asked for our blessing to do a video about Ward F's mental health state. And we happily obliged, and we also put this on our Facebook and social media. We want to promote it more, but because it was so dry and monotone, we actually wanted to recreate this video to make it more engaging and exciting, and commission our communications department to do so, because we have the funds, but we have a whole television studio at City Hall. So we're trying to get them to use it to create commercials about city services. So this is St. Peter's. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen anymore.
We can't hear what he's saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I put the video in the chat so that you can, but you can see what he's saying. And I'm gonna actually put this video on our website with the text for the mental health statistics that they used for this video. But it's a prime example of what can be done. The city of Jersey City has very talented editors and videographers that can take this video, add bells and whistles to it, make it more engaging, and do this with other services that the city offers, especially from the Health and Human Services Office. Like someone mentioned, we spend so much money on things that we should be saving money on, and we don't spend enough money on things that can possibly save people's lives or enhance their quality of life. So we're trying to get these departments to work harder in the areas that we feel like the need is great.
This is Steve Young. I had a major question that was brought up. Um, the do the community have access to this audio, this video? Because and the reason why, because information is very key, and for Jersey City to be educated and have knowledge of what's going on, there's not probably a better way to actually do that than to have more like go in the studio and explain to people and take your time to explain to people what's going on in City Hall. I think that's very key. We would like to be part of that, to assist you with that, because after all, it belongs to the residents. It belongs to the community. But to have access to it and the transparency, I think that would do a lot of good to educating the community.
Yes. So all of the caucuses, this meeting is recorded on Zoom. It's available because our office is so small. It's available upon request. It's so hard to make these videos automatically available because it's a process of downloading and uploading, and you have to sit there while it's downloading and uploading. And we have meetings to go to. We have other things that we do. We're trying to get our volunteers together so that we can have volunteers come in to do that tedious work of just clicking to download, clicking to upload, naming the video and putting it, adding it, uploading it to the website. It's a whole process. I know how to do it, but it's very time consuming. And unfortunately, we have so many other things that we have to do in our office to get done that is time sensitive. But to let you know how to find this information, I'm happy to guide you to it. You can go to everythingwardf.com, click on our community caucus page. Then that brings you to the agenda. You can click on the agenda. That brings you to the Jersey City's website. On the right side, you'll see our upcoming meetings. We have 3 left of the year. Below, you'll see previous meetings.
Okay.
Right. And then this is how you can access previous agendas. And then the videos to go with those agendas can be found again on our website. Continue scrolling down on the caucus page, and we have a link to all archived municipal council and caucus meetings. So every caucus and council meeting is recorded and placed on YouTube for your convenience, for your on-demand viewing. These are the official caucus meetings where every council person is present to ask questions, and the official city council meetings, the caucuses and the city council meetings on Wednesdays when they vote. And they're all here for on-demand viewing, including the public speaking section. The whole meeting from beginning to end is available on YouTube.
And that may be something to help edit those things, because it's very lengthy, and the time frame of most of the community is very short. So maybe some of the college students and also the high school students that's taking those type of courses inside can assist with the city with doing that as well.
Yes. I would say volunteer with our office to do so, and we can give you that workload. Just volunteering with the city is not enough, because the city doesn't prioritize stuff like this. Volunteer with an office that does. But yes, great idea. We just need the manpower to do it. Editing is very, very time consuming. To edit 1 4-hour video can take a whole week. So we definitely have to have a process. We have to have committed people, so we don't have to keep training new people. Yeah, it's a process, but if you have access to volunteers, you can send them our way. Or if you would like to even manage a group of volunteers to give them direction, that's another need that we have. More great minds that can manage the workload and the disbursement of assignments. But in the chat room, I put the link to this municipal council meeting playlist and the YouTube video to the mental health meeting. And then I'll also give you my notes. Hold on. And this is, I've been meaning to put this up on the website, but again, just time restraints, but I do, this is a public document that we make available. These are our notes from every council meeting. So there's tabs on the bottom that have the date of the council meeting. This goes right back to the most recent council meeting, which was October 25th. After this meeting, I'll update the spreadsheet to include our notes from today. And just to give you a tour of these notes from left to right, we have the page number of the agenda item, the item number of the agenda, the summary of that agenda item, the link to the backup, which is more information about this agenda item. And then we are supposed to also include the department that is sponsoring this agenda, the amount of money that this ordinance or resolution is asking for, the amount of money that it's already allocated, the comments that we collect during the caucus, both Saturday and Mondays, the council meeting notes that we collect at the council meeting, and then the final vote. As you'll see in a lot of these tabs, these columns right here, it's some of them, it's a lot of blank because we can do what we can with the time that we have, but with volunteers, we can do more. If we have a lot of people doing a little bit, no one person has to do a lot. Right now, it's one or two or three people doing a whole lot. So we are trying to organize our volunteers to help us gather this information so that we can make it as transparent as possible. But where we don't have these items filled in, you can click on these links and see the rest of that information. The information is here. We're just trying to put it all in one place so you can see it on one page instead of having to click, 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 scroll, scroll, scroll. But those are our intentions. We're getting there. Any other questions or comments or suggestions? Thank you, Mr. Young. That was a great suggestion. With that being said, please feel free to visit our website, everythingwardf.com, where we give you direct access to report issues, find help, volunteer, find your block association, learn about landlord-tenant relations, parking enforcement, senior affairs, every number for Jersey City department heads. Like if you want to give Stacey Flanagan a call, her number is on here. If you want to give, Peter Baker a call, we put everybody's number right here because we feel like everybody should have access to it. You should know these email addresses. And then youth programs, employment, and housing and rental assistance also on our homepage of the website. Please subscribe to our newsletter where we give out a lot of information. If you've ever missed the newsletter, feel free to scroll down. And we have links to news you can use. All of our newsletters are listed here. You can click on the link. It's another beautiful spreadsheet listing all the links to our previous newsletters so you can catch up on any news that you might have missed from the Ward F office. Okay. Thank you guys so much for your participation. This is one of our most packed caucuses in a while. We've been doing this since we started caucuses before the caucus every Saturday before a municipal council meeting. Tell your friends to tell a friend, and this is how we follow how the city spends their money. And we invite you to come join us on Monday for the official caucus. I would like to not end this meeting without asking you guys to keep Councilman Gilmore in your prayers. He and his family are going through a very sensitive, tough time as they have a personal issue in the family that they're all dealing with. So just keep Councilman Gilmore's family in your prayers, please. Anything else? Well, thank you all. At this time, I'll end the recording. I'll stop the screen sharing.